Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the science of our habits, how they're formed, and, more importantly, how you can actually change them for good. We're going to get right into the wiring of your brain to understand the real secrets to lasting transformation.
So let's start with a feeling I think we all know, that frustration, right? That failed New Year's resolution, that one bad habit that just refuses to quit. You get this sense that you're in a loop you just can't escape. Well, it's a totally universal experience, but it turns out the reason for it is not at all what we've been led to believe.
Okay, so here's the most important point, right off the bat. If you have ever struggled to change, it is not because you're lazy or you lack discipline. The problem isn't your character, it's the strategy. You've been fighting against your brain's fundamental operating system, and that's a battle you just can't win.
Yeah, we're always told it's all about willpower, right? That you just have to want it badly enough. But the science? It tells a completely different story. Habits are literally physical pathways in your brain. You know that saying, neurons that fire together wire together? Well, that's exactly it. Your habit is physically programmed into your brain.
And you know, your brain creates these shortcuts for a really good reason. Efficiency. I mean, think about it. Every single habit you have, good or bad, it frees up mental energy. It lets the part of your brain that handles conscious decisions, the prefrontal cortex, focus on new, more complex problems. Your brain wants to be on autopilot.
So how does this whole autopilot mode actually work? Let's take a look under the hood at the machinery behind it all. Turns out, it's a surprisingly simple and frankly incredibly powerful cycle that's just running in the background of your daily life. Psychologists have pinpointed this really elegant three-part process, and they call it the habit loop. This is the engine that drives almost all of our behaviors, from brushing your teeth to constantly checking your phone. Every single one of your habits follows this exact same structure.
First up, there's a trigger. This is just a signal for your brain to kickstart a particular routine. It could be a time of day, a place you're in, or even an emotional state. Then comes the routine. That's the action you perform, a lot of times without even thinking about it. And third, the all-important reward. This reinforces the behavior and basically tells your brain, hey, that felt good, let's definitely do it again.
So what's the secret ingredient that makes this loop so incredibly sticky? Well, it's a chemical called dopamine. When you get that reward, your brain gets a little shot of dopamine. This cements the connection between the trigger and the routine, and it makes you crave that reward the next time the trigger pops up. It's the engine of desire, really.
Okay, so if this loop is so powerful and it's chemically reinforced, how in the world do we change it? Well, the secret isn't to fight it head-on. The key is to hijack it for your own purposes. You have to work with the system, not against it. And this brings us to the core strategy. It's a little counterintuitive, but it is so powerful. You don't try to break the habit loop, you just swap out one part of it. See, your brain doesn't really know the difference between a good or bad habit. The machinery is exactly the same, so you can use that to your advantage.
Let's look at a classic example, that afternoon energy slump. We all know it. The trigger is that tired, foggy feeling you get around 3 p.m. The routine? Grab a donut or a soda. And the reward? A quick, satisfying, sugar-fueled energy boost. The loop is complete, and it's very effective.
Now watch this. This is where the magic happens. We keep the same trigger, that 3 p.m. slump, and we're aiming for the exact same reward, a feeling of renewed energy, but we replace the routine. Instead of sugar, we go for a brisk 5-minute walk. This just brilliantly shows how you can get the same payoff with a healthier behavior, satisfying the brain's craving without any of the negative side effects.
So, where do you even start with all this? I mean, it can feel pretty overwhelming to try and tackle every single habit at once. The key is to find what researchers call a keystone habit.
A keystone habit is a small change that just cascades through the rest of your life. It's one single habit that, once you get it established, creates this positive momentum that makes other good habits way easier to adopt. It's like you focus on one domino, and it knocks over a whole line of others for you.
And the great thing is, these can be surprisingly simple things. A short daily walk often leads to making better food choices and sleeping better. Reading just a few pages of a book can spark your curiosity and cut down on screen time. These small wins just build on each other.
Now, to put this into practice, you can use this really powerful mental tool called the if-then technique. This basically pre-programs your brain for action by creating a super clear link between a specific trigger and your new routine. It just takes all the guesswork out of the equation.
So for instance, instead of vaguely saying, "Oh, I'll meditate more," you create a concrete rule. If I finish my morning coffee, then I will meditate for 5 minutes. This technique is genius because it piggybacks your new habit onto an old, established one, which makes it far, far more likely to stick.
And this brings us to what might be the most important philosophy behind all of this. Lasting change, real change, it's not about these massive overnight transformations. It's about something much quieter, but so much more powerful.
True transformation doesn't come from a single heroic effort. It never does. It comes from small, consistent actions that you repeat day after day. It's the commitment to the process, not the intensity of a single moment, that really creates change.
Think about this, the power of getting just 1% better every day. By itself, it's almost unnoticeable, but over a year, the cumulative effect of that tiny, tiny improvement is absolutely staggering. This is the compound interest of self-improvement.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to this. Forget about the massive goal for just a minute and focus on building the system of tiny daily rituals. Don't focus on losing 50 pounds, just focus on taking a walk after dinner tonight. Build the right process, and the results, they'll take care of themselves.
And that leaves us with a final question to think about for yourself. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. What is that single 1% improvement that you can make? Thank you for joining us for The Explainer.